Boxing Ego here. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button and also subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon on the top of your screen to get notified when the latest new content drops. 1.
When you exert yourself in the gym, so when you fight is easy. This is when you want to force yourself. You exert yourself here. You don't got to worry about it. If you get tired in the gym, it's when you're supposed to be tired. So you won't get tired in the fight. You get done?
Yeah.
What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button and subscribe. Now, the month of May has been phenomenal. We got Kell Brook, Errol Spence. We got Tank Davis challenging Liam Smith. You've seen the clips at the beginning, and that'll be on Showtime and also on Box Nation. And it's a good fight. It's a title defense for the young scrapper, Tank Davis of Mayweather Promotions. He's going over to the UK to defend his IBF title. And I like that. I like that motion. I like the confidence that shows from Floyd Mayweather and Mayweather Promotions to put their fighter in who just fought and got the title in January, and also have him fight his mandatory so soon thereafter. Now, you've seen the clips at the beginning. Floyd Mayweather's kind of overseeing Gervonta Tank Davis. He's in Las Vegas, and he's putting the final touches on his training, making sure he's ready. And I like to see that, man. Tank Davis, I think, is very athletic. He impressed me. He showed a different level of composure in his fight with José Pedraza. Now, in today's modern world of boxing, a lot of people, if it's not like a huge name like Canelo or Canelo fighting Golovkin, then they automatically dismiss everybody as a bum, right? And that's not how boxing works, because although the YouTubers, you know what I mean, or like keyboard warriors call these guys bums, most often these fighters are fighting for something bigger than boxing, you know what I mean, families, livelihood, to pay bills, stuff like that. So they're not treating it like, oh, hey, I'm a bum, so I'm just going to lay down. Whether they could do it or not, whether they have the skills to compete or beat the elite, that doesn't mean it, you know what I'm saying? You just looked the other day, Yuriorkis Gamboa, who was once being compared to Mike Tyson when he first came through the gates, he just got stopped by a 20-1 underdog, you know what I mean, and forced to no mas and quit in that particular fight. This was a guy, Robinson Castellanos, who had lost to Mikey Garcia by stoppage, lost to Orlando Salido by stoppage, and most recently, he lost to the guy, Gary Russell Jr., is going to fight on the same night as Tank Davis versus Liam Walsh, and that's Oscar Escandón. So, in the grand scheme of things, we know Gamboa is talented. You could say, oh, he's always had kind of a suspect chin, got knocked down, but aside from Terence Crawford, no one else has stopped him. And being stopped by Terence Crawford, who rehydrated to like 155, 156 on fight night, and is a very skilled fighter who's ambidextrous, there's really no shame in losing. But obviously that fight probably took something out, took a chunk. What did Lil Wayne say? Take a chunk out your body like a shark bit, and then I'm awkward like Kurt, right? Yeah, it took some years off of Gamboa's career, because that was a brutal fight with Terence Crawford. He was doing well at first, and then the outcome was Crawford adjusted, 4 knockdowns and a knockout later. But that's my point. So I'm not overlooking the guys like Liam Walsh. I did my background, and see, that's the thing. If I don't know someone, I do some research. I didn't know too much about Liam Walsh, but British boxing, there's been some guys who are making names for themselves. Kell Brooks, the Tyson Furies, the Anthony Joshua just beat Joshua Klitschko, right? You got Terry Flanagan, who looks solid. You have Caleb Smith. You got some guys that show some promise over there, right? And that's just what it is. So guys like Liam Walsh, guys like José Pedraza, some people I've even seen them call Pedraza, oh, Tank can't fight no one, he fought a bum. So nowadays in boxing, the guy with the actual belt, not even an interim version of the belt or like a fake version of or a commemorative Cinco de Mayo edition belt, right? The guy with the actual belt is now the bum, a guy with title defenses who's fought guys like Edner Cherry, who I thought is definitely one of the biggest punchers, right? And the bottom line is, a lot of people don't know the Omar Douglases, Edner Cherries, or José Pedraza even, or Liam Walsh. So as a result, they just put them in the bum category, but it doesn't work like that. Like I said, Gamboa is a current and recent, within the last 7 days, example of these guys aren't coming to lay down. So again, whether they can pull the trigger or not remains to be seen. But to me, Tank Davis is still a new champion, so he's still proving his way and making his way and proving his path. So it'd be one thing if and besides, his opponent's a mandatory, so you can't really get out of that. That was part of the stipulations that the Pedraza Tank Davis winner had to fight this mandatory. That was part of the deal with the IBF to have the voluntary defense. But aside from that, Tank is still a young new champion. This is his first title defense, so we got to see. Just because you get a title defense, there's guys like David Lemieux who got a title and he lost his first fight, albeit he was fighting the best in the middleweight division, or one of the best, Gennady Golovkin. The reason I say one is because some people dispute his last win versus Danny Jacobs, but nonetheless, he's still top 2. You know what I mean? And Lemieux got his title and immediately lost it, and I can think of other examples too where a champion lost their belt that they just acquired, in the first couple of defenses. You look at Francisco Vargas, he wasn't a champion that long and he just got stopped in January. So fighters have to prove, they have to keep, that's the thing about being elite. You don't have to prove it once, you have to prove it over and over and over again. You can't just, I beat Pedraza, you seen it, and then you just ride off into the sunset and collect pay. You got to do, this is a fight game, you got to keep doing that. You got to keep fighting and keep proving yourself, like Floyd Mayweather did, who is Davis's mentor or promoter. Now lastly, Frank Warren on frankwarren.com, link in the description. Liam Walsh, the opponent of Tank Davis, he added that he doesn't rate Gervonta's power the same. So this makes it interesting because obviously we have to see what happens in the fight, but if Tank stops him, then he's going to make you eat your words. But obviously if he takes his best shots and whatnot, then maybe there's some validity. Me personally, I think Tank does have power. But I'm going to get to the quote. Liam Walsh says, "I've watched Gervonta Davis fights on YouTube. He is hitting people with 4 or 5 clean punches and they're not going anywhere. For me, he has got the Chris Eubank Jr. effect. He throws all these really good looking shots, then nails the guy flush across the chin and the guy just looks at him. You think that should have knocked him out because it looks brilliant, but he isn't knocking people out cold." To me, that's a little, I don't agree with Liam Walsh. To me, it's almost a rookie statement. Like, Chris Eubank, to me, I don't think has power like that. Like, he really is. I wouldn't compare Davis's power. I think Davis will wake your attention and get you up. You got to look at José Pedraza. They said he had never really been knocked out or knocked down in sparring, let alone in a pro fight. And then Tank Davis stopped him. So I don't think you could say that. In the end, these boxers are tough. No one wants to show that they can't take a shot. You know what I mean? This is what they train for. A lot of guys are in shape, especially in those lighter divisions. You know what I mean? You don't see guys looking like a Oompa Loompa or something. Like, you know what I mean? A lot of those guys look big. You know what I mean? Look big and lean and stuff like that. So to me, I wouldn't say that, because using the Liam Walsh's logic there, Anthony Joshua, he hit Klitschko with a vicious uppercut that looked beautiful, and Klitschko ate it at age 41. So we're gonna say Anthony Joshua doesn't have power? You know what I mean? When Klitschko was on the ropes and got hit with a couple more consecutive punches by Joshua, right? A guy who's 6'6" and known for knockouts, has all knockouts. Klitschko was on his feet when it got stopped. His eyes were open. So, I mean, using his logic, you said, it looks brilliant, but he isn't knocking people out cold. That doesn't always happen. You know what I mean? There's only a few guys in boxing who have a lot of consecutive knockouts where people are literally sleeping. Like, you know what I mean? I think Deontay Wilder probably has the most power, like just uncontrolled, raw, uncut power. You know what I mean? I've seen him sleep guys. Like you're like, hey guy, and then you're on the canvas and you're like, where am I? You know what I mean? You're in dreamland. Artur Spilka, the Sergei Likowitz or whatever the guy's name is. But that doesn't mean you don't have power, because Golovkin doesn't really stretch people like that either. The only person I can even think of in recent memory, since Golovkin came to the U.S. and started making a name, where he destroyed the person to the point where they got knocked out, was a 154-pounder in Ishida, who really ain't beat nobody. He beat James Kirkland. So can we say Golovkin doesn't have power? Of course he has power, you know what I mean? But there's just different severities, just different techniques and stuff. Golovkin broke guys down, you know what I mean? Like Grzegorz Proska, the Dominic Wade. Dominic Wade wasn't sleeping, and like realistically, where's Dominic Wade been? I haven't even heard anything from Dominic Wade since. So why wouldn't Golovkin sleep a person like Dominic Wade? Like sleep them in terms of how Liam Walsh was talking about, like knocking them out cold. That doesn't always happen in boxing. You know what I mean? Lucas Matisse, he just fought yesterday, a known puncher, and Emmanuel Taylor. So they're both 240 pounders, career 140 pounders who moved up to welterweight. Emmanuel Taylor got back up and he was walking, but he just was cloudy and was hurt. So I don't agree, but maybe it's some psychological warfare with Liam Walsh that he's just trying to say he don't have no power to make him fight a dumb fight. But Tank Davis clearly has power. There's just different severities of power, and ultimately these guys are tough. But the fight is coming up. I'm looking forward to it, and it goes down. Let me know what you guys think. It's happening in London at the Copper Box Arena on May 20th. Make sure you check it out. It will be on Showtime, and it will be on Box Nation. Tank looks ready. Drop it in the comment section. Make sure you share the video, like the video. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video, is Ego signing off.